से जो सहरा में चलती हुई चींटियों के कदमों की आहट को सुनता है, और दुरूद सलाम मोहम्मद व अहलबैत मोहम्मद की इज़्ज़त व अज़मत पर। क़ाला रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि वसल्लम इन्नल हुसैना मिस्बाहुल हुदा व सफ़ीनतुन नजा। मेरा हुसैन हिदायत का चराग है और निजात की कश्ती है। आज ल्यूटन के शहर में अली मस्जिद की तरफ से सरकार सैयद शहदा नवास रसूल जिगर गोशे बतूल हज़रत इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम की शहादत के हवाले से एक जुलूस निकाला गया, जिसमें बुजुर्गान, नौजवान, बच्चे, बीबियां और बहुत सारे मातमी, अज़ादार, नोएखान, उलमा उन्होंने शिरकत की और शहदाए करबला को पुरसा दिया। चूँकि पैगम्बर ने फरमाया था इन्नल हुसैना मिस्बाहुल हुदा, मेरा हुसैन हिदायत का चराग है और निजात की कश्ती है। तो आज पूरी कायनात में उस हुसैन के सदक़े में दुनिया को हिदायत भी मिल रही है, कुरान भी मिल रहा है, नमाज भी मिल रही है, दीन भी मिल रहा है। तो ये हकीकत में मेरे मौला हुसैन की कुर्बानी की वजह से कायनात में ये जो दीन शनासी है, इसलिए कहा जाता है शाह अस्त हुसैन, बादशाह अस्त हुसैन, दीन अस्त हुसैन, दीन पना अस्त हुसैन, सरदाद नदाद दस्त दर दस्त यजीद, हक्का के बिना इला इला अस्त हुसैन।
जाते हुए सर झुकाए لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين
محمد آل محمد صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الله أكبر يا رسول الله يا رسول الله يا علي يا علي زنداباد زنداباد मुर्दाबाद मुर्दाबाद लबैक या हुसैन लबैक या हुसैन लबैक या हुसैन नारा तकबीर अल्लाहु अकबर नारा रिसालत या रसूल अल्लाह नारा हैदरी या अली हैदरी या अली हैदरी या अली हैदरी या अली
The car number YS15 ESV, please remove it ASAP, please. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الغوي الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا رحمة الله وبركاته. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, people of Luton, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. We are gathered here on this procession, on this blessed procession in Jaloos for our Imam Al-Hussain salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The one who was accepted by all Muslim schools as being the son of Rasulullah, the grandson of Rasulullah, the prince of Jannah, the prince of the youth of paradise. This is an individual who is unquestionable by the Quran and by the Hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bears witness to his purity in the Quran when he says, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And Allah commanded us to love him and his family when he said, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to love this holy household. And he has commanded us in particular to love Imam Al-Hussain. And that is why we are stood here today, because of our purity of our love for Abi Abdullah Al-Hussain. We have to understand on the first level, when Allah says love an individual, Allah does not do this for no purpose. Allah is not like us that He says, you know, I like this guy, so I want you to like him as well. Allah wants you to love him because he is a pure servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he is a pure guide, because he is a true guide, and because through him you will reach haqq. And that is why we are here to tell the people about the message of the true individual of Abi Abdullah Al-Hussain. Because in this world devoid of meaning, in this world where the idea of truth is lost, you know, nowadays they say that truth is a small t, not a capital T. They say that everyone has their own truth. We say no. If everyone has their own truth, there's chaos. Because what is the truth then? There's no such thing as truth. We believe there is truth, and there is one truth, and that is found with Imam Al-Hussain salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And 50 years after the death of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Islam had reached a juncture where unfortunately the Khilafah, the leaders of the time, were taking Islam away from the truth. You know, in the famous words of Abdul Hamid al-Kishk, a Sunni scholar, he describes the time and he says that the tragedy of that time was what? That silk sits on the thrones in Baghdad while knowledge lies decimated on the plains of Karbala. Silk lied on the thrones in Baghdad. People of luxury had taken over the kingdom. This had become a kingdom. It had no longer been an Islamic Khilafah leading people towards God. The ideal of truth was being decimated. In that time where every individual done what people do today, go with the flow, follow the leadership of the time, just give in to society's whims and wills and desires. Today they say something is okay, let's follow them. In 50 years time they change their mind, we'll change our mind as well. Go to our leaders and see how they changed their mind on so many different issues over the years. Why? Let's please the people. Let's do what the people think. At that time, people were doing the same thing. They said they were on truth. You know the famous statement, their hearts are with Imam al-Hussein, but their swords were against him. Why? Because they didn't have the spine to give for the truth. In that environment, Imam al-Hussein with a small number of people, 72, maximum 108, fought against 30,000 tyrants. 108 or 72 against 30,000. In any other environment, they would simply give in. They would say, what's 108 of us going to do to 30,000? But Imam al-Hussein showed us when we stand here today and say, Hussainiyat Zindabad and Yazidiyat Murdabad, what 100 can do against 30,000. When they are sincere on truth, when they give everything they have for truth, and when they are sincere for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, victory lies with Allah. Success lies with Allah, not with the people, not with this dunya. There was 100 of them against 30,000. Imam al-Hussein gave everything he had. He gave his own companions. He gave his own brother Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. He gave his son Akbar. He stood there with a 6-month-old baby slaughtered in his arms. Oh, people of Luton, he stood there with a 6-month-old baby slaughtered in his arms. Yet the journalist in Karbala, Hamid ibn Muslim, he narrates, he says, when I looked at Imam al-Hussein when everyone was gone, I was baffled. He said, I've never seen a person so composed when he's lost everything. He stands there all alone, but he's composed. Why? Because he said, the only thing that makes this easy to me is to know that my Lord is watching over me. To have my Lord with me gives me strength. In this era where truth is no longer known, let's guide us you towards the real truth, that is Allah. Through his guide, Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam al-Hussein taught us, no matter how strong tyranny appears, no matter how fancy oppression seems, no matter how much it feels like it's the easier option to go on the side of the oppressor, always fight for the oppressed. Always fight for the sake of God. As the Ahlebait taught us, be very wary of the dua of the oppressed one, because Allah never turns down the dua of the oppressed one. Imam al-Hussein taught us, always be on the side of those who are oppressed. Never be among the oppressors. Never even be silent for the oppressors. A man once came to the Imams afterwards and said, oh Imam, we feel ashamed. We were in Karbala, but we want to come and tell you, we didn't throw a spear. We never struck anyone with a sword. We didn't do anything. We were just silent, but we were there. The Imam said that was enough as a sin. The fact that you were silent in the face of oppression is enough as a sin. They said, why? Because he said the ladies of my household saw the numbers in front of them and started to weep. The fact that you stood there and did nothing is enough as a sin. Because the fact that you stood there and did nothing made the oppressed ones realize they have no helpers. In this world of oppression, if we stand and do nothing, the oppressors gain more. They gain more proudness, they gain more momentum, and the oppressed feel more and more oppressed. They feel more and more isolated. Imam al-Hussein said, don't be like this. Give out your voice no matter how small it might be. Say something. Raise a voice no matter how small it might be. You don't know how far your voice will go in helping the oppressed one. And even if it doesn't, your reward lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lies with the ultimate haqq, that is Allah. And today we have stood there with a double intention. Not only are we here for the truth of the walking, talking Quran, Imam al-Hussein, We are stood here because to stand with the Quran, the Kitab Allah, the silent Quran. The one that has been burnt in Denmark and Sweden. Let's get one call. Labbaik ya Kitab Allah. 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 This Quran. This Quran has been burnt in 2 countries on the pretext of freedom of speech. They have burnt this holy Quran. They have burnt the ultimate truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this does not affect us in the slightest in terms of our haqq. The fact that this Quran will always be successful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran he says, وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ. The truth will come and falsehood will vanish. إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. Surah 17 verse 81. Surely falsehood was always going to vanish. Allah in the Quran says, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرِ. Surely we revealed this book. You know, in fact that verse, if you read it in real Arabic, Allah says, surely we revealed this truth. وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We will protect it. The protector of this book is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are only here to give our simple offering towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say we have not forgotten this haqq. They have burnt it on the pretext of freedom of speech. You know, this idea of freedom. This idea of freedom, we know there's no such thing as absolute freedom. There's no such thing as absolute freedom. Is anyone free to do absolutely as they wish in society? No, that's why we have a justice system. That's why certain people get arrested for doing certain things. It goes back to my first point. If there's no truth, there's no freedom. Because if there's no truth, what are you free to do? You're either free to do anything or nothing. When there's truth, then you can have freedom. In the Quran, interestingly, Allah never mentions the word freedom. He only mentions servitude. He's telling us, you're always going to be a slave or a servant. Some people are slaves to their desires. Some people are slaves to their society. Imam al-Hussain, we call him Abil Ahrar, the father of freedom. The father of freedom. Because he freed you from anything that shackled your existence, and he freed you to complete your purpose in life and serve the absolute truth. That's freedom. This world is fani, this world is going to be annihilated. The real existence is the hereafter. If this world is all there is, then really what is the point of living? As Imam al-Hussain says, it's as if this dunya never really existed, and it's this all we could see was the akhirah. The only reality is that world.
Every year, across the world, we Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib and Sunnis and Christians, we all gather and we go on Jaloos to commemorate about Abdullah al-Hussain, the grandson of the Prophet. People ask, why do we do this? Because Imam al-Hussein's tragedy was such that it needs to be remembered. Every time there is a struggle, every time there is a corrupt leader, every time there is an injustice, we go out, we parade, so that every time there is an injustice, we know to turn to about Abdullah al-Hussain. Even in the face of death, he said, I will go Rome, I will go India, I will go wherever you send me, I will let you kill me if you spare my women. However, he would never pledge allegiance to the unjust ruler. Imam al-Hussain, the grandson of the Prophet, although that is important, his character is also the greatest. He is an Imam. We follow him as our leader because he is a guidance. The Prophet said, Inna al-Husayna misbah al-huda wa safiyatul najah. Imam al-Hussain is the light of guidance and the ark of salvation. Imam Jafar al-Sadiq adds on to this by saying, Imam al-Hussain, although we the prophets and the Imams are all arks of guidance, Imam al-Hussain is the fastest. We can take from this that Imam al-Hussain, we need to remember him, we need to go to him. If you don't want to go to the Prophet, you go to Imam al-Hussain. If you want to go to Amir al-Mu'min, you go for Imam al-Hussain. If you want to go to anyone, first you must go to Imam al-Hussain.
खूब उभरते हुए एक एक जख्म से आज आए सदा अलविदा 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 रंग को डाले हुए सर झुकाए हुए रंग को डाले हुए सर झुकाए हुए शह ने होकर कहा अलविदा 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 लेके बाली सकीना को आ गोश में से हाथ धोके बोसे लिए
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद अस्सलामु अला हुसैन व अला अली इब्न हुसैन व अला औलाद हुसैन व अला अस्हाबिल हुसैन अल्लाहुम्मा लअन क़तलता मौला हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम व औलादिही व सहाबिही। आज मस्जिद-ए-अली कम्युनिटी में जुलूस इमाम हुसैन बरामद किया गया जो सालाना जुलूस है। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इस साल जो है रूट हमारा काफ़ी लंबा था, नया रूट मिला है जो हमारी पुरानी इमाम बारगाह मोर स्ट्रीट से लेके बीचवुड रोड जो हमारी करंट इमाम बारगाह यहाँ तक आया है। इस जुलूस आज़ा में मोमिनीन मोमिनात शिरकत फरमाते हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह और बहुत अच्छे मुनज़्ज़म तरीके से जुलूस जो है पाए तकमील तक पहुँचा है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। और हमारी कोशिश यही रहती है कि इस्लाम का मैसेज नबी मोहम्मद मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का मैसेज दुनिया तक पहुँचाया जाए और जो इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम के साथ अहले बैत के साथ जो जुल्म हुए हैं वो लोगों तक पहुँचाए जाएँ ताकि क़यामत तक इंशाअल्लाह इस जुल्म को कोई छुपा न सके।